Alright, so welcome to part 2. Mozart has so much to say, and Act 2 has 10 scenes in it, and there was no way that I was going to fit that all into one video. I tried, I really did. So instead, this is part 2 of Die Zauberflöte, where we find out why the queen is so angry and what happens to Pamina and Tamino. Let's jump in. Hi, Cassandra here with your weekly dose of operatic storytelling, designed to make opera more accessible and to inspire you to see more live opera. In the last video, we left off at Act 1, Scene 3, where Pamina and Tamino got to meet for the first time, but Sarastro, the high priest of the land, separated them and said that they had to face a series of trials to prove their worthiness for one another. All right, now we are in Act 2. And there are a lot of scenes in here. Whew. Here we go. Scene 1. It's a grove of palms, and we see, with Sarastro at the helm, a council of Isis and Osiris priests enter and tell Tamino and Pamina that they will be facing trials that lead to their enlightenment. And the aria and chorus sing, O Isis und Osiris, Isis and Osiris. Then we go to Act 2, Scene 2, which is taking place in the courtyard of the Temple of Ordeal. Tamino and Papageno are led to their first trial, the Trial of Silence. The two priests that lead them warn them of women's wiles and swear them to silence. They don't think highly of women either. The Queen of the Night's three ladies appear shortly after Tamino and Papageno have been sworn to silence.
Immer still und immer still und immer still und immer still.
They try to speak to Tamino and Papageno to remind them of their commitment to the Queen of the Night, and they can't understand why Tamino won't speak to them, and then the speaker and the priests return to take Tamino and Papageno away to face their second trial. Again, the trials are in 3. We are now in Act 2, Scene 3. Pamina is asleep again, and when I saw this I was like, gal, you awake from morning? Monostatos again creeps in to admire her again. Him face it. Lord Jesus, we can't stand it. He sings his aria, Alles fühlt der Liebe Freuden. All feel joys of love, even if it's being pressed upon her. Again, not a fan. And this time, the Queen of the Night appears. And when Pamina wakes, she finds her mother over her, glaring, displeased.
Ach, Mutter, hat sich den Eingeweihten gewidmet. Den Eingeweihten? Bist du mir auf ewig entrissen. Entrissen? Oh, fliehen wir.
And the Queen of the Night flies into a rage.
Schutz! Deines Vaters Tod ging meine Macht zu Grabe.
And explains to Pamina that her husband that once lived in this very same temple, on his deathbed gave the ownership of the temple not to her but to Sarastro, leaving her powerless.
Übergab freiwillig den siebenfachen Sonnenkreis den Eingeweihten. Diesen mächtigen Sonnenkreis trägt Sarastro auf seiner Brust.
The Queen of the Night is a powerful character. I wonder who's really at fault here. It's not clear to me. I know there's a perspective that Mozart is going for.
I'm going to tell you, how we ruin things as women because we overthink. We think too much and we overthink things. That's why we get crazy. And I'm going to explain it to you. I'm not a scientist, but I think the ratio of thought to speech with a woman is 15-1. Okay? We wake up in the morning, we flip on the turbines, and it's go time. Every time a woman utters a sentence, all right? For one sentence, there's 15 potentials spinning around at a high speed, picking up houses and cows and causing chaos. And it's hard to think that much and not have it go to a dark place. You're going to freak yourself out by breakfast, all right? In fact, guys, I'm going to confirm one of your worst fears. Women plan preemptive strikes against you for stuff you haven't even done yet, okay?
The Queen puts a dagger into Pamina's hand and orders her to kill Sarastro.
Ist für Sarastro geschiffen. Du wirst ihn töten und den mächtigen Sonnenkreis mir überliefern.
And she sings her famous aria. Now we are going to listen to De Hölle Rache költ in meinen Herzen. Hell's vengeance boils in my heart. Queen departs, Monostatos returns, threatening her to reveal the queen's plan if she doesn't return his love, and Pamina begs for mercy. And Sarastro reassures her that revenge and cruelty have no place in his domain. Act 2, Scene 4. A hall in the Temple of Ordeal. Tamino and Papageno are still under the vow of silence, and they are led to their second challenge. Papageno has already broken his vow of silence, and
Doch wir zwei können miteinander reden, wir sind ja Männer.
he complains of thirst.
Nicht einmal ein Tropfen Wasser kriegt er bei die Leid. Viel weniger sonst irgendwas.
And an old woman appears, offering Papageno a cup of water.
Ist das für mich?
He accepts, and teasingly, he asks, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And she replies that she does and that his name is Papageno, then disappears. Sorastro then sends in the trio, boys or the boy angels, to bring food to Tamino and Papageno, as well as bring Tamino his magic flute and Papageno his magic bells / glockenspiel. And Tamino begins to play his magic flute, which summons Pamina.
Tamino! Ich hörte deine Flöte und lief dem Tone nach.
And she tries to speak to him, but he cannot break his vow of silence.
Du sprichst nicht mit deiner Pamina?
And Pamina, completely disheartened, believes that he does not love her anymore, and she leaves ready to face death, and she sings a gorgeous aria. Ach, ich fühl's, es ist verschwunden. Ach, I feel it, it's gone. 10 scenes in this act. Too many notes, Mozart. Act 2, Scene 5, the pyramids. The priests are happy to see that Tamino is still successful, and Sarastro brings Pamina in and tells Tamino and Pamina to bid each other a final farewell. They exit, and then Papageno enters. He's still thirsty, and the priests answer his request and give him wine. And while he's sipping that wine, he's like, and I'd also really love a wife if you could hand her over. The same old woman from the previous scene reappears, and she's warning him, promise to marry her, love her faithfully. I'll marry you until something better comes along.
Hier ist meine Hand mit der Versicherung, dass ich dir auf ewig treu bleiben werde, solange ich keine schönere finde.
Das schwörst du?
Ja, das schwöre ich. Papagena!
Ordentlicher junges Weib, er ist deiner noch nicht würdig.
Ja, wisst ihr, die meine Familie... Sie soll die Erde nicht verschlingen!
You are not worthy of her yet. Scene 6 finale in a garden, and the trio of boys appear once again, but this time they're observing Pamina, who is contemplating her suicide because she's been rejected twice, and the trio reassures her that Tamino does love her. Sunshiny days are ahead. Hold on, girl. We get to Act 2, Scene 7. At the Mountains of Ordeal, there are two mountains, one flowing with fire and one flowing with water. Tamino is led in by two men clad in armor, promising enlightenment to the one who can overcome the fear of death. Tamino is ready to face the test, but he hears Pamina calling to him. And she says, I love you, you love me, and we will overcome this trial together. But the priests hail their triumph, and then we get to Act 2, Scene 8. There's a garden with a tree. And now we find poor Papageno, sad and feeling that he's not worthy of Papagena because...
Papagena! 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 Mein Teufel, meine Schöne, vergeben! Ach,
he is hesitant, but decides he must hang himself and works up the courage by slowly counting to 3. Again, that 3 reference.
Papageno frisch hinauf, ende deinen Lebenslauf. Papageno frisch hinauf, ende deinen Lebenslauf. Nun, ich warte noch, es sei, ich warte noch. sein, will man sehen, let 1, 2, 3.
He's like, 1, 2.
Weil mich nichts zurückhält. Gute Nacht, du falsche Welt. Gute Nacht, du falsche Welt.
Oh, Papageno und sein Kuh, man hätte einmal diese Decke nur, man hätte einmal diese Decke nur.
The trio of boy angels appear and they remind him to play his magic glockenspiel, and he does, and it summons Papagena, and she appears and they excitedly sing and plan a life together filled with children, and they sing a cute little duet that goes pa 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 pa
Pa, bist du mir nun ganz gegeben?
Okay, then we get to Act 2, Scene 9, a rocky landscape outside of the temple at night. And so Monostatos is with the Queen of the Night and her three ladies, and together they plot to destroy Sarastro and his temple. And they But then a crack of thunder and lightning suddenly casts them out into eternal light. Blah, 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 blah. And so then we come to Act 2, Scene 10, which is the Temple of the Sun. It's day, and Sarastro appears and announces that the sun has triumphed over the night. The chorus sings and hails the love of Tamino and Pamina, and the opera ends with them singing with their thanks to Isis und Osiris. And boom, the opera's over. What did you think of the Queen of the Night? Do you think she was right for being upset that her daughter was abducted and her powers completely taken away from her and she's left with nothing? Whereas the man, Sarastro, gets to take over her entire domain? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And does this inspire you to actually go and see an opera for yourself? It would be kind of fun to see all this great music live. So much better. All right. This is Opera for Black Folks, serving culture to all folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Ciao! Then, a clap of lunder.